Okay, good afternoon everyone and welcome back again after Diwali vacation. So today we are starting with our fifth unit, that is test planning and documentation. Am I audible to everyone and PPT or the slides are visible to you properly? Please reply. Am I audible? Screen visible properly? Should I start now? As you are not
Recording in progress.
as you are not giving response, I have to check it by myself only. Okay. So in this fifth unit, we are going to learn the following points of this chapter. That is nothing but the test planning. That is the goal of test planning topics, writing and tracking the test cases, the goal of test case planning, then test case planning overview, test case organization and tracking, reporting bugs, getting your bugs fixed, and isolating and reproducing the bugs. So these are the bits from this topic, test planning and documentation. So about title of this chapter. So the chapter name is test planning and documentation. So how you are going to plan your test. Test means the whole process of your software or the product testing. Okay, so how you are going to plan it accordingly, how you are going to execute it, and properly you are maintaining the documentation for the same, how to maintain the document, which different bits are included in that particular documentation. So all these points we are going to cover in this chapter. So test planning and documentation. So about central idea of the chapter. So if you are going to any of the stream of the MNCs like software testing, so here the test cases you are executing, you are finding number of bugs, but if you are not able to report them or make the document of those bugs properly as per the rules, then it will be difficult to uh, guess what exactly the bug is. Okay, so that's why the this particular knowledge about documentation of bug or the bug planning or test planning, so that is very important to study. Then coming to the next, that is nothing but the importance of the chapter in the syllabus. Yes, you, as you are learning about software testing, so you must be able to understand the process of documentation so that it will be helpful for you in future, so that your client will also get the idea about what different types of bugs you have found in the process of that particular software testing and all. Okay, so that is why this particular chapter's study is very much important. Darugat. Comment. Darugat. And then chapter outcome. So at the end of this chapter, student will be able to, so this is the fourth chapter outcome, that is perform the planning and documentation of the test efforts. So to perform planning and documentation, how to plan your test and how to maintain the documentation for the tests. So the study of this is very much important, and that we are going to cover under this chapter. So we will start with this chapter. The first bit is test planning, that is the goal of test planning. So first of all, we should understand what is exactly the test plan is. Okay, so the test plan is detailed document that describes the test strategy, objectives, schedule, estimation and deliverables, and resources required for the testing. Okay, so your test plan, what it will include, it is a detailed document. This test plan is having all the information included in the document, that is the test strategy. That means how you are going. Kshitija Fase, mute your mic. So the test strategy, that means how you are going to test your product, test your software. Okay, so whatever the strategies we have learned in the last chapter, that is nothing but going from top to down, bottom up, or sandwich testing, or whatever. Okay, so how you are going to make the strategy to test your that particular software, so that will be included in this. Then objective is what? So just a minute. गप न लागू नको त्याच्या मागे, दारू घडते. Then next is objective. So objective of your test plan, what you are going to achieve by using this particular test plan. So achieving means your product should be absolutely bug free. Okay, then whatever the number of defects you are found, that all should be fixed. Then if you are having any kind of a target for the same, like out of suppose you are having only 30 days in hand, so in that 30 days you will try to find out at least 300 bugs or so. Okay, so that kind of some kind of objectives you will be having over there. Then the schedule is nothing but like in how many days you are going to cover the testing testing of your product. So like suppose the product is having say 10 modules in it, so out of those 10, all of them are not having the same time for the testing. Okay, maybe out of those 10, only 4 are having major role in the software, so you may need more and more time for testing those 4 modules. Okay, so how you are going to schedule this testing activity for all these 10 modules? So first 2 modules you are giving say 5 to 6 days. Then for next 4 important modules you are giving say 15 days. Then after all other remaining you are giving say 5 day each, or whatever the strategy you are defining. So all that kind of a schedule you have to maintain. Okay, so if you are going like go for unit testing, then module testing, and then go for other kind of a testing, then go for like load testing, volume testing and all, so that may be the schedule, that may also be included in the schedule. Then estimation and deliverables. So what is that? So estimation means suppose for this testing purpose, if you need some extra resources, Okay, so suppose for example you are having a team of say 10 people, but the project is very bigger one, so you may need some 5 to 6 members in your team extra. Okay, so that way you have to ask to your manager, like from other project can you get these 5 6 people extra. So definitely they are allocated to your project. So what will happen, ki, uh, their task or on which particular module they are working, they will be released from that and they will be appointed to your project. So accordingly that work is managed properly or not. Okay, so this is one task. If you want to hire new um, employees for the same, so on contract basis, say for 5 months, 6 months, 11 months, like that. So if you're hiring the employees on that basis, so that particular estimation like for those 11 months you will be giving proper salary to them. Okay, so what will be the cost for that, for giving the salary and all. Okay, so that will be coming under estimation. Also, suppose for example you may need extra resources like hardware or software for the testing of that particular product, so that will also be included. So suppose if you want to purchase new software, so its license copy, how much its cost will be, so all those details should be there in your test plan. Okay, and then the resources required for testing. So resources already I have covered, like resources maybe it will be the manpower or some hardware software support or whatever. Okay, so this test plan is the detailed document including all these things. Getting? Then test plan helps us to determine the effort needed to validate the quality of the application under test. So definitely it will give you the quality of your software, how much um, so quality standards again we are going to study in our 6th and 7th chapter. But before that, what is the quality of your software? So some kind of um, uh, what we can say, standards it will go under, like ISO standards are there, CMM levels are there, like that. Okay, then the test plan serves as a blueprint to conduct software testing activities as a defined process which is minutely monitored and controlled by the test manager. So it will be working as a blueprint. Blueprint is what? Blueprint is the final document of your whatever the task is. Okay, final document, that means it will define the whole process which is minutely monitored and controlled by the test manager. Then coming to the next is, okay, so how this test plan will be discussed in the your weekly meetings with your teams. So one funny picture is given over here. So in a meeting you want to discuss the test plan. Okay, and discuss the test plan with your team members, but they are not interested. Okay, you want to discuss about the test plan with your teammates, but they are not interested. So as a boss, what will you do is you will ask to them about, we need a test plan for this project and it's important. Then at that time, some of your employees will say, making the test plan is waste of time. I want to work now. No need of test plan. So test plan and its activities we just now have seen in while we are seeing the definition for that. Okay, so making all the plans and all these things, it is just the waste of time, your employee may say, and no need to go for it. We will directly start with the testing activity. So this could be the reply from your employees. This could be the reply. Okay, and then at that time, what will be the reaction from your side? So there are two options for that. So first is, in such case, what will you do? Select your answer as for as uh, from as following figures. Okay, so will you go for the option A, that is, yes, you have to listen to me, I am your manager, do everything as I said? Okay, aggressively will you uh, reply to your employees? Or the option B is, okay, let me explain why we need the test plan. So your boss will tell the employees why exactly we need the test plan, so that I will explain. Okay, so which option will you go with? Whether it will be A or it will be B? What will be your answer in that case? Tell me your answer. You can reply on chat. Okay, very good. From one answer came from Prashant Khurda, and that is option B. Okay, so your manager will reply like, okay, let me explain why we need a test plan. So your position is a test manager, right? So you must have to explain them the importance of test plan, rather than forcing them to do the work whatever you want. Okay, so you have to explain all the things why we need to go with this strategy. Okay, because he has attended all the meetings. Okay, in our second unit, we have seen whatever the agencies involved at each particular stages, starting from your first stage of requirement gathering, isn't it? So your test manager will be the person who is having the whole idea about the product. Okay, so if you go in a proper direction, your test manager will be giving you proper direction, and in that way only you will be like flowing. Okay, so that your task will be properly managed, and in less amount of time you will get extra and good output, isn't it? Then, importance of test plan. So we have seen the basic things about the test plan. So still, why we should go for the test plan, and its importance that we are going to see now. So making test plan has multiple benefits. out of which the first is it will help the people outside the test team, such as developers, business managers, customers, to understand the details of testing. Okay, so suppose for example you are doing like ad hoc testing. Ad hoc testing is just like monkey testing. You are testing the product like anything. Okay, so if you are going for the testing of that product in that way, definitely the developers will be unhappy with you. Why? Because all the criterias, all the points which are not covered from your development team, and they are supposed to be done from the testing team, but the testers are not working in that way which is required from developers, those people side. Okay, so your test plan will give proper idea about what type of testing you are doing, in which direction, in which way you are going, and all these things. Okay, then the business manager, definitely business manager, why they will come here in picture? Because if the product, just now I told you that the product is of 10 modules, and if you are done with first 4 modules properly, then they will get the idea that okay, fine, from this product about 35 to 40% of testing is been done now, in that way. Okay, because they are the business manager, they are having the business, they are having the clients, they have to pay money accordingly, get money accordingly from the customer, and all the required things under this. Also your customers, so they should also understand what is their going on at the testing team, what type of bugs you are finding, so how the testing is being done, all my views are covered from the testing team or not, as a customer. So all this will be checked. Next, test plan guides our thinking. It is like a rule book, so it will guide our thinking. Rishi, आवाज बारीक. It will guide our thinking. That means, so suppose for example I'm stuck at one particular stage, I'm checking the module number 3, and I don't have any idea that which type of or which particular input is there for the module 3 from another module. Okay, but if I have that proper plan with me, or it is like a rule book, so if I get whole idea, basic idea, then I will be able to try different inputs at this particular level, and then I can proceed. Then important aspects like test estimation, test scope, test strategy are documented in the test plan, so it can be reviewed by the management team and reused for other projects also. So suppose if you are having the project which is of same type, another one. Okay, so you can use the strategy you are using to the current project to that project also, isn't it? So that way this particular test plan is useful. So till now, if you have any doubt, you can raise the query. Any problem till this point? This is the primary information for this topic. So if you don't have any problem, I will go for the next bit. So now the next bit is how to write a test plan. So you already know that making a test plan is the most important task. ते ठेव इथं, ते ठेव इथं. मला लागायचंय. So you already know that making a test plan is the most important task of test management process. So following are the steps. Rather 7-8 steps are given over here to create the test plan as per the IEEE 829 standard. Okay, so out of that, the first stage is analyze the product. So first of all, you have to analyze the product. So how your product is, like it is a commercial application or educational one, it is just informative website or what. So that product you have to analyze first. So what are the different things that can be covered under this, like what is the functionality of the that particular product and all. So that way you have to analyze the product from your side with your team. Then second is design test strategy. So just now we have discussed about it. So test strategy, that means you have to discuss about how you are going to test that particular software. So like again, if you are having 10 modules, so in that 10 modules you are going to split your team. So whatever the core team is, that will be looking after into the main functionality of the product. So some people may be good in GUI testing, some people may be good in ad hoc testing. So like that you have to segregate your team, and accordingly you have to manage the strategy for testing purpose. Then define the test objective. So test objective is also one of the important thing in the test plan. So accordingly you have to define the test objective. So at the end of each day, what should be there in your hand. So if you are in a testing team, then how many bugs your team should found on each day, like that you can define the strategy in that way. Then plan the test environment. Test environment is what key in this particular thing you have to understand about the environments, like suppose this particular software is related to some kind of a server application where you need fast processing PCs. Okay, so that type of environment, and nowadays we are seeing that all the MNCs are having very good air conditioners. Okay, so AC is not a big deal, but the environment, like that type of system, whether you are having, if you are currently working with say 4 GB RAM PCs, but that particular product is required with 8 GB RAM or more than that. So whether it is available with you, if not, you have to make it available and all those things. So that type of environment you have to check. Oh, I'm going from 1 to 3 to direct 6. It is not the way. After defining the test objective, you have to define the test criteria. Okay, test criteria means in which way, what type of a test you are undergoing through, so that you have to define. Then resource planning, again, resource planning is what just now I told, what different types of, what extra resources you may need in testing of that particular software, so that you have to define at this stage. Then comes your sixth stage, that is plan the test environment. Then after, schedule and estimation, you have to define about the schedule, in how many days, how much part of the product you are going to complete, like that. Schedule and estimation we already have seen in the, while we are seeing the definition for the test plan. And finally, determine the test deliverables. That means after testing, what will be the output, and accordingly what will be the deliverables to your customer or the development team that you have to define at that particular stage. Then test planning topics. So test planning, for that purpose, what different topics you are going to cover, what different criterias are required for you, so they are listed over here. So high level expectations. So maximum, what different types of expectations are there from your customer, from your manager. So all those should be covered under this expectations part. Then what's the purpose of the test planning process and software test plan? So purpose you have to define properly over there. Why you are going for this particular test planning process, and what is exactly the software test plan is, so that you are going to cover over there. Then you know the reasons for the test planning. Okay, you will soon, but do the programmers know, do the technical writers know, does the management know? So whatever the reasons for test plannings are there, so whether they are aware to your programmers, to your technical writers, to your management or the manager's team or not, so that is very much important at this stage. And more importantly, do they agree with and support the test planning process? If yes, then and then only you can proceed further. Okay, so these are the test planning topics. So in this, some important definitions are there. So before going for the definition, any doubt? Once again, I'm asking all of you. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Okay, so as nobody is replying for this, I will start with the important definitions from this particular chapter. So out of that, the first one is the build. So build is what? It is the compilation of code and content that the programmers put together to be tested. The test plan should define the frequency of builds that will be on daily basis or weekly basis, and the expected quality level. So this is nothing but the build. As uh, we can say that the version of any software. So version number 1, 1.1, 1.2, 1.1.1, 1.1.2, like that. So these are the nothing but the builds. So suppose if you are going to change something in your product, so that will be uh, discussed in the meeting first. So these meetings may be there on daily basis or weekly basis. So as like weekly basis, so suppose if you are done with some changes now and it is the build like 1.1.1, and you are getting some extra requirements from your customer, so that will be discussed in your next weekly meeting, isn't it? So that particular thing or that will be the build number 1.1.2. okay, so in that way you will be going with the builds. Then test release document, that is nothing but the TRD. So it is the document that the programmers release with each build, stating what is new, then different, what is fixed, and ready for testing. So that all things will be included in your test release document. Then alpha release, a very early build intended for limited distribution to a few key customers and to marketing for demonstration purposes. It's not intended to be used in a real world situation. The exact contents and quality level must be understood by everyone who will use the alpha release. So alpha release is nothing but the very early build intended for limited distribution to a few key customers. So alpha release, and just like alpha testing, as we have seen, so alpha release is the primary stage where you are delivering the early build for some key customers only. Okay, then we'll come the beta release. So it is the formal build intended for widespread distribution to potential customers. It will be the build which will be deliverable to your final customers. Remember that the bug bashes and beta testing, that the specific reasons for doing the beta testing need to be defined at this particular stage. Then spec complete, specification complete. So it is a scheduled date when the specification is supposedly complete and will no longer change. So here all the specifications, requirement specifications coming from your customers are already over. Your software is totally finished. This will be that particular stage. So after you work on a few projects, you may think that this day occurs only in fiction books, but it really should be said with the specifications only undergoing minor controlled changes after that. So this is the spec complete. Then comes your future complete. So future complete is a scheduled date when the programmers will stop adding new features to the code and concentrate on fixing the bugs only. Okay, so feature complete is all the features, all the new additions in your product are now over, and now the developers are concentrating only on the bugs coming from the tester side and fix them properly. No new changes are entertained at this particular level. And finally, bug committee. So a bug made up of the test manager, project manager, development manager, and the product support manager that meets weekly to review the bugs and determine which ones to fix and how they should be fixed. Okay, so the bug committee is one of the primary users of the quality and reliability goals set forth in the test plan. So this is nothing but the bug committee. Okay, so that is the group made up of the test manager, project manager, development manager, and product support manager, who are going to meet on weekly basis, and then they will decide what to do now, what to do next, etc. Okay, then so what will be tested and what will not be tested, that part we will see in our next lecture, as we are having one more lecture after this one. So if you have any doubt, you can raise the query, or I think on Thursday we are having the lecture. So the next part we will cover on that day. If you have any doubt, you can post your queries. Otherwise, put your attendance in the chat room and then you can leave. Thank you for today's lecture. If you have put your attendance, you can leave.